Hello everybody and welcome back to my sewing room. My name's Diane and each week I like to come to you and share with you all the things I've been doing that are quilty related. And this week I'll start off with the finish of the Enchanted Garden. So I quilted it in a simple crosshatch. I pieced the back and I fixed the little barn swallow's wing that there was a problem with. You can't see now. I will show you the back where you can see that I've sewed all the way around that. I just wanted to make sure that it was really super secure. I did hand sew it on, appliqued the little piece that was missing, and then I went on top with the sewing machine, so that's never ever gonna budge. So I finished that one and then I visited Project Linus. So I think I'll tell you all about my visit to Project Linus. But before we go any further, I just need to have a shout out to Bradley. Bradley! Bradley! Good boy, Bradley. That's Julie's beagle. And apparently when Julie sits and watches the videos, Bradley sits by her side. So there are lots and lots of charities out there that will accept blankets or quilted items. And a couple of weeks ago, there's a YouTuber based in Edinburgh. Her name is Kristen. She's Canadian. And she has a channel called Scrap Fabric Love. And 2 weeks ago, she put out a video really useful about quilting for charities. And she called it How to Make Your First Quilt for Charity or something along those lines. Like I say, it was about 2 weeks ago. And she sort of gave an outline of things that you can do, should do, might want to do. Different organisations that accept quilts have different requirements. And then she also included a list, an up-to-date list, 2024, of charities that you can donate to in the UK, in America, United States of America and Canada. So if you are thinking about giving a quilt to charity or you want to start making them, I think that's a really good way to start. Have a look and see what her suggestions are. So she's done quite a lot of research into that and it's really useful, like I say. So Project Linus. For my Project Linus, every now and again, I think about 4 times a year perhaps, they have a little meeting in a local village hall just outside of the town where I live. It's a small hall with a narrow room that we occupy, and at one end there's a place where they serve teas and coffees and cold drinks. And the lovely host, Kim, she provided some homemade scones and homemade preserves, which looked gorgeous. I am dairy intolerant and they all had yoghurt in, so I couldn't partake, but I had it on really good recommendations that they were lovely. And then there is another table on the side of the room, and on that table there's things that you can buy to support the charity. So there are, I will show you, a lovely jigsaw. And this is the jigsaw that I bought. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? I bought this, took it back to where I was sitting, and I was sitting next to the lady that had donated it for the sales table, and she told me that it's a really, really difficult jigsaw to do. So that'll be interesting over Christmas. So I bought that, and I also bought a collection. Actually, how many did I buy? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bundles of these quilting magazines. They're called Today's Quilter. I think there might be a supplement in something else, I'm not sure. But they're a small magazine with ideas for quilting and all sorts of things. And, well, you can't walk past it, can you? If it's for charity and is quilting, well, you just buy as many as you can. And so I've got those, and there are some really nice ideas in there for some quilts. So I think I might use some of those for Project Linus. And also there was one by Angela Walters, Free Motion Quilting. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, that's something I'm going to have a go at, I think, in 2025. So fortuitous. So I got that. I didn't get anything else from the table. The idea for the table is to raise money so that they can buy fabric to give to the quilters and for batting as well, and so that we can make more quilts. So that's the idea. It's non-profit making, and they had a raffle as well, so we all participated in that. It's a really lovely social event. People that haven't seen each other for a while have a chance to get together and they chat, quilty chats, and there's a show and tell. So we take along with us any quilts that we've completed, and then people show those and you get some really nice ideas for quilts. I have never made a quilt with a panel before, and there was a lady there. Actually, she was a twin. Both of the ladies were there. One was a piecer and one was one who likes to quilt, and she used these panels and they were beautiful. So maybe in 2025 I might try a panel as well. And then in a small room off that very narrow room, tiny little cupboard space really, Kim was giving you batting if you wanted batting. So I took some batting. That's the batting I used in the Enchanted Garden. It's a polyester cotton blend, I think, and it's not one I usually buy, but it quilted really nice, so I used that in that one, and I should have enough for another couple. At the moment, I'm making all scrappy quilts. There's that peachy pinky one, and there's another one just here. So I shall use that batting in those scrappy quilts. And then there was a chair with a big box on, and in that big box there were remnants of fabric and some fat quarters, and Kim, our host, said, help yourselves, take whatever you want to go towards another Project Linus quilt. And I take all of it. I liked all of it. But I had a look and then I thought, right, I'll just wait and see, let everyone else take what they want and then I'll go back. Well, on the third time of asking, please help yourself, I went up. I took 2 fat quarter bundles and there were 6 pieces in each. So I've already broken into these. So if you saw me make the Enchanted Garden, you'll see that I used some of that. There's a navy blue. This has been curated by somebody, I think, to make a quilt. Greens, a mottled green, and then a beigey. And then in the other fat quarter bundle, there's this gold brown. Again, I've cut into that already. That's the back of the robin that I made in the Enchanted Garden. A green, a taupe, and then there were 2 peaches. That soft peach, and then a deeper one. So those were the fat quarter bundles. Then these are for backings, or you can use them however you like, but they're bigger pieces. So this one is just over a metre, I'd say, just over a yard. A brown with peaches in. I mean, they just go beautifully, don't they? So you can do whatever you want. There's no guidelines apart from the sizes. There's certain requirements. There's this lovely browny colour. People don't seem to like brown so much. I like it. And then this. I didn't realise there was 2 pieces of this. This one's quite big, so this is going to go quite a way. I'll get back to that one in a minute. This one led me down a rabbit hole, so I'll get back to that. And then this white, and there's a lot of this white, so I'll be using that for the backings of quite a few quilts. Definitely these 2 that are on the go, and more. So a good little stash there. So that was my day at Project Linus. I picked some labels up, so I was able to complete the 5-inch charm pack quilt that I'd made a couple of videos ago. So I put the label on that, finished that, put a label on to the Enchanted Garden, finished that. And then a couple of days later, after returning, I had an email saying that they would like to give some quilts to caregivers over the Christmas period as gifts. And then I decided that I would spend the whole of November just making quilts for Project Linus. And so I have all that fabric there. And then I looked in the stash that I have for Project Linus. I have two stashes. One is my personal use, and so there's that pile, and then I have a separate pile for my Project Linus, and in that is any fabric that is donated to me, or if it's sort of little bits that are left over from projects or fabric that I think, well, I won't use that again, that makes its way over. And I thought I'll have a look, and I've got this lovely white fabric with Roman numerals on that was donated by Stella. Thank you again, Estella, getting through it all now. So I thought, what can I make for that? Well, they're always asking for quilts for teenagers, and I thought I'd like to use that for a teenager. And then I was thinking about time, and then I thought about steampunk. Now this is another story about buying fabric. I'm not going to mention the shop, I'm not going to name and shame, but this, I logged on and looked for some steampunk fabric, and I think you can just make it out. It's a black background and there's sort of golds and browns and tans clocks on it. Well, I looked online and it was $5.99 a yard, no, $5.99 a metre, and so I thought, oh, I'll have one of them. And then I thought, I haven't got a design yet in my mind for this clock quilt, but I thought, okay, I need some more colours. I didn't want to just use these two fabrics in a quilt, and so I thought, okay, I'll have a look and see if they've got any more of this in a different colourway. So I looked down and I came across another one which looked like it was black background with silver and grey clocks, and I thought, oh, that will make a nice contrast. So I bought a metre of that, but that one was £8.98, I think it was, a metre, and I thought, oh, popularity must be more popular. So they came yesterday, and it was the same company that was selling this fabric. It was the same fabric, they were just photographed differently. One looked more like greys and blacks, and they had two different prices. They were on two different parts of Amazon I bought them from, and I just thought, that's a bit cheeky, isn't it? Anyway, I bought this. I've got 2 metres of this. There's about a metre of this, and so I thought I need some more colours to go with that, so I've ordered some black, solid black, a metre of that, and a metre of mustard. So that will be in a quilt some time or other, hopefully November, not sure. And so that's another story that I've got to. It's been one of those weeks. I ordered a big bundle of black fabric, there was 5 metres, and it just never turned up. And they're my usual suppliers, so I tried, and apparently they've got problems at the moment. So I thought I'll try this new company with the mustard and the black, and so that's arriving on Friday, I think. So we'll have a look and see what the quality of that is like. And I really wanted to have quite a lot of this black fabric because I had in mind to do quite a dramatic rainbow quilt with the black and this jelly roll that I've had for quite a while, and I've sort of gone off the idea of my original idea now what I was going to do, so I'm scrapping that. And Caitlin contacted me recently and said a challenge to make a quilt without any half square triangles, because I really like half square triangles. So I have got a really simple rainbow and black quilt, so it'll be 2.5 inch widths, that I will make after November. So the rabbit hole this went with. I don't usually buy themed fabrics because, you know, sometimes they can be difficult to use unless you've got a specific quilt in mind. So when this came, all these beautiful autumnal fabrics, and then on the evening that I came back from Project Linus, I had a little ding on the phone from Rainbow Fabrics, which is an online store in the UK where they sell end of line and dead stock and defects and all sorts of things at very reasonable prices. It was 40% off. And so you have to have a look, don't you? So when I looked at this 40% off, they had this lovely gnome fabric, all autumnal colours, really, really lovely. And so I thought, oh, I'll buy that. And I'll buy some backing, so I'll show you that. So I bought some of this wide backing because I had an idea to make a rainbow quilt. and I thought that would be really nice for the backing of that. So I bought that, and then because I have a problem with green, I bought a metre of this lovely marble green, a metre of this. And that's all well and good, having favourite colours in fabric, but sometimes it can begin to get out of hand a little bit. And I'll show you my collection of greens. So the smallest pieces I've got are bigger than fat quarters. There's quite a bit here. And it's this one, an autumn fabric. I tried to use that in the Enchanted Garden, but that didn't work, so that's come back. And then there's a mottled green, and then there's William Morris design green background, and then there's quite a bit of this green polka dot, and there's this lovely one similar to that one of those earlier prints I showed you, and then there's this lovely green floral, and then there's this green leaf, and then there's some green with dots on, a lighter and a darker. And then there's this, I've got a big piece of this with golds and different greens. Actually, when I thought, oh, I'll show you all the greens, I thought I had more than that. I do have a few fat quarters, but I don't think it's as bad as I imagined it to be. So that, I think, is all the fabric debacle. And the last thing I bought this week that is quilt related is these quick turning tools. And the reason I bought those was we have a new viewer, welcome Cynthia, and she said that I reminded her of Nikki from Sew Pin Cut, and so she said it's our way of improv making quilts. And so I went on and had a look at Nikki's channel and watched a couple of her videos. I am subscribed now, and on one of them she was making bias tape, and she had this quick turning tool. So I don't know why I needed a quick turning tool. I think a while back, a couple of years back, I thought about making some patchwork quilts with some sinuous lines over, and that reminded me of that. And so I bought them. They weren't very expensive, but I bought those. So those are my last quilt acquisitions for this week. It's been quite a lot really, considering I hadn't intended to buy anything. And that's all really that's been happening in my quilting room this week, apart from I've gone into my part blocks box and I've decided that any part blocks that are in there are going to end up in a quilt. And tomorrow is the last day of Sherry McGill's Sew Along row quilt. So that's on lessons learned. So I have made the other 4. So I will complete that this week as well. So that will be 3 quilts for me to put together. And I think that's everything now for this week. So if you are still with me, thank you very much for your company. I'll leave you with the Enchanted quilt. That one's finished, just needs washing. And if you can spare the time, please come next week and I hope to show you the row quilt. That should be quilted and finished then. So take really good care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye.